welcome everyone to Byte episode 3. I am today joined by Charles. How you doing, Charles?
Good, doing good.
Good, fantastic. What about you, AJ?
Doing well, mate. Doing well.
Doing well, mate. That's what we like to hear. Yeah. Anyway, we have a special person joining us today. Her name is Mika. Introduce yourself, Mika.
Hi,
Tell us a bit about yourself.
I'm Mika, and I'm part of their cohort. So we're part of the Creativity Works Futures training thing. So basically, I'm a co-trainee, and I'm just here for my first time on their podcast. So hi guys, please be kind.
Don't worry.
But
Listen,
yeah,
we're a friendly community here. We're always open to hearing different things, and we always, as always, want to make sure you feel welcomed here. So, how have you found the course so far? Have you found the few weeks that have just gone by so far, Mika?
literally, it's been quite fast. I mean, it's long, if you count it per day. But I'm so shocked we're coming into what, the fifth, almost the fifth week, I think. And this is the
Time,
fourth one.
yeah,
So it's been great. It's so jam-packed with everything that we've met, people from Unreal Engine. That was an awesome session.
Oh yeah.
Like all those meeting people like Nickelodeon and stuff like that. So I think you both all of you agree.
yeah, it was brilliant. And this week has been very eventful. A lot of things we have taken on board. There's plenty of things to go through. We could literally go all day with this. So we're going to cover as much as we can. So, um, the whole concept behind this is the whole thing with storytelling and the importance of inclusion. Now, when I think of inclusion, for me it means a lot of things: diversity, cultures, backgrounds, all of those things, right? Because as we are progressing with time, we are seeing more people getting involved with with brands, companies, products, and I think it's very important to acknowledge that this is a huge change, which is very important because we are now living in a world where slowly everyone is getting on board with the world and making a contribution in whatever way they can. So it is, I think, a good time right now. I mean, it could be better, but we're trying to be positive here. So if Charles, if you don't mind me starting with you, what do you think about the whole future with storytelling, and how do you think it plays a part in our industry?
Well, obviously, when we first started this week, I initially thought obviously in terms of storytelling, it'll be like storytelling that we be used to, because since some of us did film programs before, so we would have I think most of us were kind of expecting screenplays and just TV pilots, understanding those type of stories. But I kind of like the fact that we didn't focus on that. We only focused on like going back to kind of like what we did in week 2 with analyzing data, insight, and analytics, but adapting them to make an advert or a campaign with a story behind
Yeah,
it.
they all link, right? They all like sort of
Exactly.
merge together into one, right?
Exactly. And I think the best example I think for that we had this week for trying to adapt like a story and have campaigns and products be inclusive as possible. What you said earlier about backgrounds, diversity, like LGBT, that kind of stuff, is I think it was definitely good on the physical days, the face-to-face sessions we had with Black Sheep and Quiet Storm. I think the online sessions are good, but I feel like we kind of learn and understand a bit more when we're actually in the same room together in that environment. And
I
I know
mean,
I know
I
it's
mean, we're
basic,
we're all in the same boat in that one. That's for sure.
yeah, but I just love seeing like different ways like they come up like, you know, manage their companies, communicate with their brand products, and make something very like heartfelt and powerful and impactful within the industry just with a couple of seconds from an advert or with a campaign. Like, for example, Black Sheep were behind Tesco's the slogan they did, the slogan that we always saw, the food love stories, that was one. And we saw like different we saw the aspect of three brothers from a different background, ethnicity, seeing how they got together through food through the lockdown, and also targeting how older people don't get seen much in TV as they used to, and we get to see that through a group of swimmers, and they do it through food as well. So it's adverts like that, as well as campaigns, that always attract like audiences' attention, and that's something that obviously did like leave an impact on all of us. And like if I go back to some of the stuff we were looking at,
Go ahead.
Like specifically with Black Sheep, they talked about how they talked about, like, you know, the different roles they even did as well, like account management, their creative paths, the production side, pretty much just like their inspiration from that. I'm sorry if I'm slightly waffling. I'm just like, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's so much to take in. And I like the fact that obviously they also used examples of also talking about strategies. And I did like the fact that they picked up on celebrities or famous people have a strategy. I am sorry that they violated you on that with Manchester United. But
look, listen. At least they have a strategy, unlike Ole Gunnar Solskjaer right now. Obviously, AJ had to jump in there, but yeah, absolutely. I want to sort of like, if you mind at all, to talk a bit about Black Sheep. I love their message behind their agency, and they put so much effort into making sure that the campaigns they do for their clients are met, and they make sure that the whole message behind inclusion is there as well, and it's told in a strong and a powerful way which engages with the public. And I think that's very important, because the last thing they want to do is put something which is too like at their face, so it feels very forced and it feels very ungenuine. And I also love how we got to almost picture thing. They gave us like a scenario, basically do something for Ramadan for Tesco or something like that. Our one was I mean, I think we were all in different groups, right? Weren't we?
Different. We were all.
Oh no! Wait! You and AJ were in the same group, and then me and Mika were in a different group.
And I like the fact that all of us didn't kind of think of the same thing. We all came in with different, fresh perspectives, and that's, I think, what made Black Sheep really enjoy us being there, because we all didn't go with this. I mean, we kind of went with the same thing, but we put our own twist on it. We went our different approaches with it.
Yeah, Chunks' WhatsApp will be pinging after that, like, honestly, because we all wanted him to be there. AJ, let me grab you on board, my guy. Let me just ask you what you think. You know, what does inclusion mean to you?
Inclusion means is where everybody, no matter what race, color, gender, sex, whatever that is what, like, that to me is when everyone's included, that no one gets discriminated against. Because look at us, we're all inclusive. We've got Brother George, you are Indian and Japanese. Mika is you're Thai, aren't you?
Oh my god! But okay, I get that a lot, but I'm Filipino, AJ.
Filipino.
Okay, that's
sorry.
cool. Okay, that's fine. But I get that a lot. It's fine.
And I'm the white guy in the group.
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
comment.
he's,
Anyway,
he's
I'm
a
joking,
resident
I'm
white guy in the
joking, I'm
group.
joking. I'm joking.
Yeah, so it's like,
We are inclusive. We're inclusive.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on, AJ. Carry on. Sorry. You were saying, AJ?
Yeah, like I think we lost.
Okay. Okay. Well, I think he's dying of
yeah,
laughter.
yeah. So
Oh,
like,
there he is.
so that's what inclusive means to me. Like, huh?
We can still hear you.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, vaguely. You guys are in and out, but I think it might be
We
my
can-
connection.
We
Can you
can
hear
still
me?
hear. Yeah.
Yeah, we can
We
hear
can-
you. We can hear you.
We can
Okay,
hear
okay.
you, AJ. You're good. You're good.
All right. So as I was saying that, yeah. So inclusion to me is that everyone involved, everyone not discriminating against each other. That's what it is to me.
Nice, nice. That was very powerful there. I can't even lie to you. That was, I mean, we all definitely agree that inclusion is very important.
Mhm.
Yeah, like, yeah, it's just the amount of times that I had to be dug out for this Man United comment. No one would just leave me alone. Like, no, I couldn't. Literally, I know this is completely irrelevant, but just bear with. No one gave me a break, and everyone just started piling on me. Jonas then went for his presentation from Vimto. And I was like, you're depressed 5-0. Like, come on, man. Like, just give me a break.
Well, how do you
Come
think
on,
I
man.
felt when you guys
Listen,
saying, "Oh,
listen,
Squid
yeah.
Game, oh, Squid Game, oh, Squid Game"? I don't want to hear more about Squid Game.
Well, mate, you gotta hear it for the next few weeks because your boy is Mr. Game Ambassador.
And I
right
guess
here.
like having Squid Game like suddenly boom like that, a Korean show. It's something. It's not in your face, but it just shows that there's more variety now. That sense of inclusion, like AJ and everyone has been discussing. So it's good. Like we see the media reflect what the people want. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
something.
yeah. I actually wanna go on what Mika is saying right there because I think Squid Game has if you guys don't mind me talking about it for a bit because I really think it does link into what we're talking about. I think Squid Game really put Asia on the map when it comes to making film content, literally, because it's phenomenal, like AJ Styles. Yes, it's phenomenal.
I
And
agree, but I do feel like it's Parasite. The film Parasite that actually put like, the Asian film industry in the limelight,
yeah.
But for
We
TV series,
definitely,
definitely
yeah,
Squid Game.
Alice
yeah,
in Borderlands
definitely.
better.
I mean, you know what,
Well,
that's a bit. You know what, I do want to talk about that series, but I'll just use Squid Game as an example because
for the
I do have an opinion on Alice in Borderland. But anyway, Squid Game I think shows the importance of inclusion because the cast involves someone of South Asian descent to come on and feature in the series as well. And it was great. Like he was quite a featured role. Am I wrong in saying that? Like he was quite featured in quite a bit, and the diversity was really there, and the inclusion was as well. So now we're seeing like countries all around the globe using the powerful word inclusion to their advantage to make people feel more welcomed, to make the communities more out there, to make people feel like more involved with society as a whole. And I think that's very important to feel like we all have a place here. Um,
definitely.
uh, but if we could also just say how far this whole concept of storytelling has come from, because there has been, I think, quite a journey from those from how we've made progress to how it used to be. So, Mika, if you don't mind me asking, what improvements do you think there has been in that sort of sense when it comes to being inclusive and everything? What
Well,
does that mean to you?
well.
I that was to Mika.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I should have
Charles,
made
you
that. I
can
don't know if
take
I.
it. You can take the mic after me, I promise.
Nope.
But basically, yeah, I guess in terms of improvements, like this was like sometimes when it comes to ethnicities, being diversity, it becomes like sometimes a sensitive or touchy topic. But I guess that's good in a sense that like our session with, I will always go back to BBH because they are the ones that talked about inclusive brand storytelling mainly.
Yeah, it was
Is that
amazing, honestly.
Agreed.
Yeah, it was quite. Like, so everyone moving forward with wanting to show more diversity, they did say that to anchor that, it always has to go back to authenticity. I guess like the improvements right now is great. Everyone's trying to chime in, pitch in to the move towards a more diverse media, a more diverse like sphere in terms of, what we portray in TV, for example, in ads and everything. But I guess like more importantly than that, like it's great, but authenticity I think is key, and like finding out what makes things, how we can determine like how authentic something is. That's the important thing, I guess. That should be a development. We should develop more around like having people inside the board to talk, like for example, what I mean is like not just diversity in TV shows or what we present, but with the people working on them, if that makes sense, like people in the biz also being diverse, not just who we portray as actors, who we portray as characters, but also people working on them. I hope that
Yeah,
answers the
yeah.
question, but Charles, please do chime
No,
in.
no, 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 no. Honestly, I think you are like speaking like I agree with what you're saying. To be honest with you, I think it definitely had it's had quite a journey. There, we've had to overcome a lot of things, and as you were talking in the very beginning, you were talking about the people being a bit too iffy with speaking about particular topics, and I think people are starting to become a bit more brave with it because listen, we can't please everyone, right?
No.
And at the end of it, that's what BBH try to do, trying to find a balance so people can be happy with what they are putting out there for their clients, which is
Yeah.
vitally important because happy clients means more recognition, and it means better public perspective. So that is
And a
very,
better
very important.
branding, I guess, more so for them as well. Not just
Yeah.
for, not just having the clients be happy, but it's your brand yourself, like what the company stands for. It's going to be a great, great image as well,
Yeah,
I
and it
guess.
Yeah.
definitely falls under their when they were giving us the presentation the presentation, it falls under the active inclusion principles, and from their words, authentic insight of a particular audience that connects university. Number one, bringing a fresh perspective, challenge stereotypes, explore.
That's a huge one, stereotypes.
Yeah, bring a fresh perspective, challenge stereotypes, approximately explore intersectionally, and reflect people historically left left
Yeah.
out. And obviously be switched on to inclusive layering. Make sure the story, the message, the tone, and casting all work together. And honestly, since even before joining the traineeship, like we've been slowly seeing that, seeing all these aspects work together to give us products, an advert, or a campaign that is getting people talking about being more inclusive within the industry, as well as a whole in general.
Yeah. I was, yeah, it's yeah, absolutely. But I think when you're talking about stereotypes, I mean, listen, um I think everyone here can definitely relate to stereotypes. I mean, the stereotypes I've received definitely in the past haven't been
Are we going to
the
start
haven't
being
been great
emotional,
at all.
George? Because I feel you.
No, no, no. Look, I'm just gonna be completely real and honest. It's not great, and this is what I mean by saying we've come quite a bit because it's all about just kicking the doors down and just sort of just creating a new pathway for people who want to really just be out there and sort of feel more involved. Because today, right, we did we had a chat with ITV, and we were given a task to do about partnering a campaign up um, with Love Island, right? Now, I gotta be completely honest here. Look, you heard me the way I was talking. I think the show needs to
Shame.
actually grow a pair, and start actually being more about love To be honest with you, listen. Look, it sounds really cheesy. I'm just not going to try and explain it the best way I can. But what I think the importance of inclusiveness in this plays such a huge part in it, because I mean, let me ask you guys, like, what do you think Love Island is a bad example of inclusion?
Well, since obviously we had ITV today, which was a really fun session, like shout out to the talkers, well, the speakers. But yeah, obviously we were given the task of specifically how could you make a campaign to campaign ITV's Love Island a bit better. And I think literally all of us, well, most of us, wanted to break away from what they've been currently doing. And that's like
So it is a bad example, do you think?
yeah, it is a bad example because yes, there's drama, there's gossip, but from the research that we've done, it makes audiences feel uncomfortable as well as put down, because the show pretty much shows off, oh, you need to look like this guy to find love and all that, and that's just wrong. And perfectly honest, you hardly ever see many diverse cast members, as well as in being inclusive. Like we most of the cast are white, and you only see like the rare occasion of a mixed race male or female.
Yeah, I quite agree, Charles.
No,
And I
no
also want to hear
Asians.
what AJ
No
thinks.
Asians.
Like,
Thinks on this, but I feel like we could think of it. I just chimed in, but like I think we can think of it as this show is like, so the people that go behind this show, like the ones that make it, they do their research, right?
yeah,
So basically, they know what type of things that people want to see on the screen. So I guess we could look at it as, I'm not necessarily saying it's a great show, but it's a culmination of what um the society that watches it wants, if that makes sense. So I guess it goes deeper in a sense that maybe it's not just the show we need to change, although that would be the easier route to it, but it's because like the way society perceives what they want to see as well. So I guess it's great to tackle it, George, in a sense that you're right. They need to like revamp it to make it more inclusive. But then it's to do with ratings as well. Is this really what the people want? Maybe we should start changing how people perceive, so that the culmination of the shows that we like, that's the society likes,
It's the
would
whole
reflect
point of
as
the
well.
campaign, though, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Well, it's,
I agree. But yeah, I don't think Love Island definitely properly like shows the actual society that we live in. Definitely, most I agree definitely on that part.
absolutely not. AJ, what do you think of Love Island? Bad example of inclusion?
Yeah, it's terrible.
honestly, I say the best example of an inclusive love slash dating show would have to be Channel 4's First Date Hotel, First Date
Mhm.
Holiday, like that, those type of shows, because that actually feels more inclusive, because they don't just bring like, oh, different sex couples. They actually bring like they bring couples from different backgrounds, ethnicities, or same sex. Like that's something that they're not afraid to put forward, because that's literally how things are now, and we shouldn't be discriminating that. Love is love.
I,
You can't change how people feel, even if
I,
people are negative. Just ignore them, because they don't know what real love is if they can't accept change.
But you
I,
know what?
I,
Mhm.
There's this show. I don't
yeah.
know if you guys know it. It's called the 90-Day Fiance. It might not be in these. Like I don't know if it's like a
Oh
common
my
thing here.
God, I had a
But think
casting
about
offering
that.
for that.
No, no,
I
wait.
was like, I'm like,
What?
why am I getting this? Like
Wait.
literally,
About
I
it.
was
This
going
is what
down
I
my, I
mean.
was going down my feed. I was going down my feed, and I saw it. I'm like, do I look like someone that's looks like you're gonna get married? I get told I look 15. What the hell is that all about?
Oh dear.
It's so
Oh,
so
unfortunate.
random. Anyways, Mika,
No, no. But if
get
you
to
think about it, they cast like diverse people. but in a horrible, I wouldn't say horrible, but like in a not nice light, if that makes sense. So it's to do with like it's not always just casting people in a diverse manner, but it's also how you portray them, if that makes sense. That's diverse. Like they literally, there's one that's like American, and then like from Thailand or whatever, for different parts of the world. But it's the premise. Like their premise is like to show the bad parts, of like people migrating. You guys are so immature. Oh my gosh. Get it? Like, it's that like
Go spit
yeah,
over my
No,
phone.
diverse.
I promise
a
I
good
was listening. Okay, I promise.
Yeah, we were listening. We were listening. Let's
Yeah.
We'll see.
I take no responsibility. Anyways, so, I think also, I think what there was something you said literally before that madness just happened. About you were saying something about pleasing the audience, right? And that's the thing, right? Like, it's all about ratings, right? It's all about what people want to see, right? It's about knowing what people watch, what people are into, their age range, what they do, etc. That's all important because, like what Charles was saying, it goes back to the previous week. Data, right? The future of data. It's incredibly important. It helps us find out things. It helps us build things, put things together, and create better things. Hence why we use it so much, because it's something we basically need every day to, in order to make solid progression. We had also we came up with also something we had yesterday was Nickelodeon, and we had to put a kid show together. Obviously, SpongeBob back in the day, switching it on. I think anyone could pick out at
Overrated.
least one iconic. This guy's a flipping hater, man. Like this, like you could all name one show that is iconic to Nickelodeon.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of talk with inclusion of that one, considering it's a kids show and it's could be quite a thing to do. Yes, AJ showing off the characters as we do the faces on Nickelodeon. But yeah, what do you guys how was it putting the show together?
It was very good. Like obviously we had if I can remember correctly, we showed us case studies on example shows, and obviously we weren't limited to just like one particular age range. It could be live action for people starting in the younger days of school, or younger, or preschool, those type of shows. But it's good that we're seeing the aspects of insight and inclusion that I was mentioning before from Black Sheep. They're using that Nickelodeon also use these areas like in creativity, production management. They use all these skills and they apply it into their shows as well. Like they do the case. They have it like for the show, the Nickelodeon show, Goldie, which obviously they explain the log line. It's about like a girl and their mother and their brother heading back to England to live with their grandpa who's alone. Obviously that's right, but they also see that he's rented out his rooms to other pensioners like himself. And that's actually something that was really good because you hardly ever see that. You hardly ever see a TV show that's majority older for an old majority has an older casting, but obviously it still follows the main character. But it also shows that just because we're old, it doesn't mean we still don't have a story to tell. And then
Definitely.
and obviously we had the examples. Even then, obviously we had the preschool case studies with these, the Deer Squad, and obviously that's in like obviously for kids, but it's also educational because it's like the bad guys trying to destroy stuff. We good guys in the forest, we want to stop that, and that's being educational, like into the point where they want younger audiences to understand like we have to stop like destroying our planet, like destroying future, because there are consequences on that. So this show, even though it's for preschool, it's educational to the fact that they'll be becoming self-aware of, this isn't right, we should stop this.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, to be honest with you, when it, what I do find quite challenging, and I don't know about you lot, but even relating to Nickelodeon and all of these things from BBH as well, I think it is kind of, I mean, as we're talking about inclusion and diversity, and telling a story, I think it can be quite challenging to please everyone because you want to please as much people as you can.
Yeah.
And that's why, when things blow up or when things become very popular, you really look up to them and you think to yourself, what are they doing so well? It's because they deep every single little thing you could ever imagine. So, it's all about digging up little bits, some of the big bits as well, just putting them all together and just really pitching it. I'm just going forward with it basically. But I just also I have to also admit as well, Mika's idea and AJ's as well. I think that you two were in the same group, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, girl. Cairo
Mhm.
was AJ's brainchild. Come on, AJ, you better talk about it.
Come on, who?
Yeah.
I
Where
don't
is he
know.
from,
Like, I
bro?
just gave him
Where
a
is he
name,
from?
but
He's
he's
Egyptian and
Japanese
Japanese.
Egyptian.
Oh yeah, that was definitely good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Represent.
that was one of two ideas I had. But the first idea I had
All
was
right,
like
we got a producer here apparently.
the first idea I had was like what was the name? I think it was like Malachi and Bo. There's like a spin-off of Kieran and Kel, but they're in Brixton. That was the first idea. That got shut down real quick.
Jesus.
Then Cairo was the second
See that
idea,
emoji?
and that just ran. We did to run with it.
Yeah, mine.
Yeah, but I digged it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Most all of us did.
Mm-hmm. It's like everything that we didn't want like an Asian sensei because that's just like too
Stereotypical.
predictable. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's always gonna. So that's why I had like Michael J. White as the sensei idea, and it's like, and how often do we see like an Arab friend in one of these shows as well?
Yeah, that is a very unique mix. Actually, I'm just very impressed.
Yeah.
This was really cool. It was really, really cool. So let me just go on to the next thing. So like when it comes to sort of telling a story, right? Because at the end of the day, all of us have something different to really put forward, and all of us come from different backgrounds. So what I necessarily want to know from all of you lot is that what does storytelling mean to you personally? Like, what are you necessarily looking to sort of put out there, considering the world's changing as it is right now, into making sure it becomes more inclusive? I swear to God, that'll be a drinking game in a minute. But sort of just what does that what do you want to do with that idea, with that concept? Like, what do you want to do with the future with that sort of thing? What are you looking to do with all of that?
I think
Hey, me, just make
All of
some
you?
money.
Yeah, jump in.
we're not. I
Well,
think
priorities right there, sir.
honestly, like with all the stuff that we've looked at so far, like how you can actually do branding and campaigns, and obviously having a story behind it, and being inclusive and stuff, I feel like what I want to achieve with those type of skills is having a very strong but also caring and supportive community, so people don't have to be left out, because that's the thing with the internet these days. There's thousands of groups, and you always feel like you have to maybe be someone else to be in this group. But I think what we would like to do is make these community, even what these companies are doing, they want to make a community where no one has to feel left out, and I don't think anyone wants to do that. And we also defend
No.
from anyone who feels like that they can just hurt them. We won't allow that.
Of course. AJ, what about you? What is what are you looking to do in the future with your, with the whole concept of storytelling? What does that mean to you?
It's everything because everyone's got a story. So I'll try that. So with me, it's like trying to capture people's story through my photography work. Because I think most of my work is black and white. So it's like it's just trying to capture the aspects of their life. So I probably taking pictures of guys on construction sites or older people. If they've got wrinkles, you can see they've lived a hard life and stuff like that.
Or that photographer.
You're gone.
Sorry to interrupt you, but also like that photographer from last week who obviously talked with the homeless before actually taking pictures and obviously making them black and white. Those stories, those pictures showed a story. They showed a character. They showed someone who is a part of this community, but obviously they're sadly homeless, and that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like even capturing like newborn babies, seeing like the start of their story as well. So stuff like that.
We all were babies. Look at us now.
Just bigger babies.
What about you, Mika? Okay, all right. Listen, I mean, at least you lot look your age. Anyway, Mika, what about you?
Oh my goodness. So basically, mine is just simple, like, just take up space in like the creative industry. Because I feel like, and even, I don't know, like maybe you guys have a similar story, but just those stories of immigrants, like people that have multiple cultures, just having their view. Like, of course, everyone's going to be like going on about everyone has a story, yes. But like, I guess my focus would be that, just that experience of like various cultures interacting with that, and just like I'm gonna pave the way for these stories to come through. That's why I'm saying I want to take up space in the creative process, so just give those voices, those stories, a platform. I guess that's an ultimate goal, in terms of like what I can take away with storytelling week, which was an awesome week, by the way. But yeah,
I think
that was no, go on.
Yeah, but just quickly, I think before we actually do move on, but I think when it comes to like stuff that we weren't aware of, like before, going into this week, I think in terms of obviously data and insights, well as like research techniques, I think the one thing that I was very intrigued on was the fact that there's a type of research method called semiotics, and that was literally interesting to hear that there is another type of research that I've never heard of before. Like I've done film industry courses since my year 11 days at school, and never have I ever came across this type of research before.
Well, I guess it's also part of linguistics, Charles. Like, so, remember how we had a session with Edelman? So they had psycholinguistics there. So semiotics is connected in a sense that you should imagine something is a symbol, and it symbolizes something, if that makes sense. So a logo would symbolize a company. So that's how semiotics works, if that makes sense. So but I'm glad, like, we had so much insight. Like, we're learning so much, definitely, in all these past weeks. Like you said, like, this is a whole different like subject. Like, we're going into theories, theoretical stuff on film, media, advertising. It's a wholesome program, definitely.
Yeah, just to touch upon of what you said about what we've come to really discover. I think for me, it's such a huge relief that we are all part of this, because feeling included is a massive deal to me. And the whole point of me, doing what I want to do necessarily, is to create like a huge like pathway for people like me to dwell into the industry and just make a name for themselves, and to feel like not to feel restraint just because of who they are, what they look like, where they come from, who they are, what their beliefs are, and all that kind of stuff. Because because all of the people that come from these cultures, they have made such a huge difference, you know. And I think it's very important that we are promoting such a positive message. I mean, there is still work to be done. I think we can all agree on that. That's for sure. But the positive thing is, it's getting better. It's getting better. And when it comes to learning new things as well, because literally some of the things I've learned this week is like trying to figure out the square root of Popeye's chin. But it's quite interesting to really delve into it and sort of find out all of these new things as well, because finding out things from the production side of Nickelodeon, and then finding out things from BBH as well, and having these virtual meetings as well. It's really just everyone has definitely taken some sort of element on board with it. And I think as we did just now, we just told our own stories. We all got our story, and I think when the time comes, we're ready to tell it. Really. Are we good for time?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, we are. So like overall, like compared to like this week as a whole, what do you guys what was the most difficult part of the week, do you think? What was the most challenging aspect?
Well, for me, you already know, like, it's like in terms of obviously my dyslexia, a slow learning processing and disorder, like it's trying to obviously take on all this information on the day. Like, I do my best to like write notes to make, or at least keywords, but sometimes trying to process it takes some time. But obviously, and even though I've already done like something along the lines of this before, and in like other film courses, it's still making sure that I can find the clicks to jumpstart the memories. But yeah, sometimes it is hard, and I think everyone else might have found it a bit difficult as well, like being shown these different ways that companies use these techniques and apply it to their work. It was a challenge. I think personally, I think the difficult one has to be, I think it'll have to be I think that the best example of it being the difficult one would be Quiet Storm, when we had to do their task. Like, obviously they were intrigued with our ideas, and obviously that was with me, AJ, and you George. Like, we had ideas, we wanted to make sure it was there.
Yeah, Vinto, yeah.
Obviously, yeah, there were bits that we could have done better, but what came good out of that, out of some errors that were obviously nitpicked, we got to have a chat with the lead speaker, Trevor, and that was good, because he clearly saw that we had something. We just need obviously more time to look into it more, and that's something we always have to take on board with these type of tasks, even these talks. These guys are professionals. They have a lot to do. They have a lot of time to take on this information and get a pitch or preparation ready to pitch the ideas.
Oh my gosh, I absolutely agree, Charles. Like, it's basically just, it's not even to do with anything specific, like a specific company. It's just the feeling of having briefs every day. It makes it feel real, you know? Like, the program really makes it so that we're actually living like what they're doing from week to week, day to day. Like, it's just that, really. Like, I wouldn't say it's anything too complex, but I understand, like, for example, Charles would have that difficulty, that personal difficulty. But I guess everyone could say, I don't know, AJ, what do you think? Like, did you think, how do you feel like having briefs every day? Like having to present every day?
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same with me, Charles. I'm dyslexic as well, so I find it hard and everything like that. But like, I still take the notes down and everything, but I still find it all hard, especially like when we're just like either like sitting on Zoom and we have to listen and stuff. And it's like sometimes my mind will just go AWOL, so like it's hard to keep my mind on the actual speakers. So
No, but honestly, I think I think what we're forgetting is that these guys that do it for a living, they spend a good amount of time on it, like a good maybe a week, maybe a few weeks, and we literally came up with something under the same day within a few hours. I don't think that's something we actually deep enough or think about, because like what we've been talking about, it's the little things, right? We merged them, and it's a lot of work, and it's incredibly draining. And you know what, pizza went enough as well. Pizza went enough. I mean, I was still like, like trying to think to myself, like, oh my god, like how many more, how many more. But I really commend you guys for overcoming difficulties, because like I worry about the same thing. Like I really do. I worry about things like whether my idea would be a bit too silly or a bit too serious or maybe a bit too controversial. But at the end of the day, I just think, you know what, if it helps people, if it brings people together and it sends out a positive image,
Yes, girl.
then
No, George, you've
you
been
know,
brilliant. Like, give yourself
why
credit.
not?
Hello. Like,
Hello?
everyone's done well.
We can hear you. Don't
Hello?
worry. We can hear you.
Where did you hear me up to?
Literally all of that.
Okay,
No,
sorry.
you.
Like literally my literally no my thing froze for a minute. That's why I got a bit weird about it. But yeah, you, like everyone, all of us here, we all done very well on that day, because it was very tiring, very training. And does anyone even like Vimto here? Like,
It was great. It was all right. It was my first time, so I think it was fine.
but look, I'm always down to make things better anyway. We're always here to try and make things better anyway, even if if we think it could be better. So no harm trying to make something better.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, this isn't like college or school. We're not getting marked on this. In the end of the day, yes, it's going to be beneficial for us because we're learning stuff, and we're not going to say, "Oh, this is you've done this and that's it. You can't learn about it anymore." We still have access to the recordings and stuff, and obviously we have our notes. But overall, in the end of the day, this is for fun. In the end, this is to like bring out our creativity and bring out our soft skills. And so far, even if people think they feel like they haven't had much in most of the tasks we've done, everyone's done their bit. Everyone's pulled their weight, and that's something
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
going to be very. It's going to really put us on the challenge when the week after next week comes around with this charity event. We'll be homing in all these skills and hopefully using some of the skills we've learned this week to help with this charity.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm quite excited to get working on that. If you don't mind me, we have time for this question. I kind of quite eager to ask it actually. So, storytelling, inclusion, right? Think of one thing, right? The one advert, right? For maybe you don't have to necessarily be, if you want to pick a company, feel free. But what's the one idea, the one thing you want to promote, the one story you want to tell, the one thing you want to inspire the public about, or want the public to know about? What would it be? Because then, like I said, we all are here trying to spread awareness to a degree, trying to make the world a better place. What would that one thing be for each and every one of you?
I say for people like me with hidden disabilities disabilities. Like, just because we have these disabilities, it doesn't mean that we can't make our mark in society as well as in the creative industry. Like, for me, just because I have dyslexia, yes, I'm slow processing, but that doesn't mean my creativity lacks. If anything, dyslexia for me, yes, it has its downsides, but the upside is I think outside the box, and I actually try and bring in a fresh perspective from outside that box on any topic.
Yeah, I commend you, man. Mika, you?
Oh, that's such a nice question, by the way. Thanks for that, George. But I feel like
All right.
for me, maybe it's just that in everything we do, it's just best to pay kindness forward. Like it doesn't even matter like ethnicity, nationalities, whatever part of the world you're from, whatever background you have, paying kindness forward will always like get you there. That's it. That's the story I want to tell.
AJ, what about you?
Wow, the story I want to tell. That's crazy. I don't even. The story I want to tell. See, that's hard because there's so many stories out there. I would say probably the story I want to tell is my story. I saw stories just like my timeline basically. So basically, just keep that going until until I croak, until I kill over. I think that'll probably be the best. I think that's the best thing I could
So you
do.
want to leave a legacy, basically.
Yeah.
But what kind of legacy are you looking to necessarily build?
Oh, flipping heck, man! You're asking these good ass questions.
He's just gonna be awesome. Awesome AJ.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's gonna
Listen,
be
I thought you were awesome the day I met you, like honestly, but
Definitely.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, just say just I just told my story through my photography and everything. So that's
well,
all
I
I've.
guess. Yeah, well, I guess that he's on to me. The one story I want to say, I want to tell is just no matter what things life throws at you, just continue being you. It's the best way to fight any negativity, any shitty things that ever happen in your life. Excuse my Japanese, but it's just something I just live through, because I'm sure all of us have endured some kind of pain in our lives which took time to sort of go away. Sometimes we carry it forward with us. If I had to promote something, it's to always stay true to yourself and never let anything else influence your life. Because once you let people influence your life, guess what? You're not doing anything for yourself. You're letting the other people's thoughts take over you. You're not in any sort of control of your life. And that's how it nearly, played a part in my life. If I continued listening to what other people were saying, I'll be honest, I wouldn't be here. I really wouldn't. It really would take me away, and it wouldn't make me who I am right now. So, and I think that's really important to really to tell people, because that's where I think the whole idea of inclusion comes in. It's about being true to yourself, feeling like you're a part of something, feeling a part of society. That is majorly important to me, because definitely at one point in our lives we definitely felt left out of something, and I don't want anyone to ever feel like that, ever. So that is my story. I have to necessarily, if I had to put out there, really, to be honest with you.
That's beautiful, George. That's an
Yeah,
awesome,
yeah,
awesome thing to put
Absolutely,
up.
sir.
yeah. Because look, as I'm hearing, you guys talk about your struggles as well, I think it's important for people to know that, regardless of wherever you're from, whatever you believe in, sex, whatever you're into, all that kind of jazz, you have a huge part to play. Everyone has a purpose. Everyone has an involvement that they can contribute to, and they should never, ever, ever let some idiot or some just let this negative energy engulf them and just let it take over you, because trust me, it's a horrible thing. It's a horrible thing. And I think all of us here have something to contribute to this world, definitely. And this it's been a rough ride, but do our best on that for sure. Any final thoughts?
All I can say is it was great doing this episode today, and if all of you guys want to hear more on anyone's POV, specifically Mika, check out her channel in the description.
Yeah.
You guys, this was so fun. Like, what the heck? This is so awesome. I get why you guys do this. Like, it's so fun. Finger hearts. But yeah.
But yeah, Mika, it's been awesome having you. Honestly, just great. Just so awesome just getting another person's perspective on how the week has gone. Charles, great as always. AJ, being AJ. everyone, and you, and yeah, this host. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Please stay tuned. There'll be plenty more to come, and please tune in for next week for Byte Podcast
On the topic of social media. Goodbye, everyone.